Morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to make this a 5 minute video. It can't be longer than that, maybe maximum 10. And then I need to move on. This is actually just the precursor to the on demand videos that I'm about to make. Today, I want to talk about some behaviors of mentally strong people and the people who raise mentally strong people and the things they do and do not do, which creates mentally strong people or weak people. But in the build up to that particular video, I want to do a little bit of work on the general about learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is something which is strife in our community. Learned helplessness. I'm going to start learned helplessness by telling you a story of a young boy, Cody, presented in a book. The book is about things that mentally strong parents don't do. Okay. Let's start with Cody. Cody is 14. Cody had just been diagnosed with ADHD. Cody has been in school for 14 years. Cody has been meeting teacher expectations all along. Obviously, Cody has had issues and difficulties. And so teachers have had things to say about Cody's behavior, blah, blah, blah. And then they eventually went through to assessment and diagnosis. And voila, Cody has got ADHD. So his teachers looked at Cody. Cody was bright. Cody can deliver. Yes, Cody might have ADHD, but Cody, with the right expectations, should be able to meet certain outcomes. Well, Cody's parents' response. Cody has got ADHD. Teachers, reduce the kind of work you give Cody. Yeah, he's incapable of doing all these things. Yeah, Cody has a diagnosis. Yeah, and you know what happened to Cody? His grades plummeted. He had been in school for 14 years. Teachers knew his ability already. He had been meeting expectations, but the minute the diagnosis came, his parents created an excuse for him. His parents started demanding the teachers minimize their expectations of Cody. These are professionals who've worked with this kid for a long time. They know him. But the parents were reduced. Cody has an illness. They facilitated, they enabled, and then Cody, as a typical human being, now saw a window of opportunity to exploit. Guess what Cody did? Took the opportunity. His parents were facilitating it. Well, Cody was going to take it. So teachers started lowering expectations according to the parents' demand. Cody's grades took a nosedive as a result. Now, obviously, I don't know what triggered it, but the parents and the teachers actually came to have a conversation about the plummeting grades because there was a significant nosedive in Cody's results, Cody's attainment. And in this discussion, the conversation about expectation and the lowered expectation came up. The parents were challenged about this. People put information before the parents. And because of that, the parents admitted their role in this journey. And so the parents decided to take an alternative route. In the alternative route, it's about empowering Cody so that Cody could take responsibility. It was helping Cody to override this learned helplessness. In this learned helplessness, there is also the victim mentality. Cody felt a victim. He has ADHD. Oh, life is so terrible for him. If it wasn't for the ADHD. And he found himself actually a victim of circumstances, a victim of his parents' choices. Cody, as a child, had been given an opportunity to not perform. So, of course, he took it. He took this opportunity. You've seen the outcomes for Cody. Well, the parents decided to go down the alternative routes to allow professionals who knew their child to challenge their child and to begin to talk to Cody about the problems he had having something to do with attention and not his ability. There was actually no disability for Cody. He had attention deficits. And yes, there are other strategies that can be used to help a child, to scaffold for a child, to compensate for these deficits. And the teachers had these skills anyway. Cody needed to be made to realize that these skills existed. These things could help him. It was about helping Cody to get the most for him. The teachers would be paid either way. If Cody performed or Cody didn't perform, the teachers were going to get paid. The only person who stood to lose was Cody and his parents as a result. And this thing was communicated quite clearly to them in whatever conversation was had. Everybody understood. And then the challenge began. Cody, who had plummeted, actually recovered his grades and began to accelerate progress. Now, this is what I want to discuss today. If people enable you, you think they like you. Enablers are the worst kind of people you can have in this life. People who facilitate your nonsense, they are dangerous because they will help you learn helplessness, and they will drive you into a victim's mentality. And in your learned helplessness, feeling a victim, you will stop taking responsibilities for yourself and for your actions. And so things will spiral out of control very quickly. You wouldn't know what hit you. Your life will derail very fast. And that's one of the reasons why it's said to people who want to make progress to avoid enablers. I run from enablers. People enable me all the time and I run. You're doing your course and you don't have time, it's true. But I can still deliver good outcomes. As a mom, as a full-time working mom, yeah, you can still be a good everything, regardless. Yeah, teenagers, they are difficult. Yeah, doesn't excuse you from being a good parent. You try your very best. But people excuse me all the time. And sometimes I end up challenging the people who want to become enablers in my life because I don't want it. I reject it. I refuse to go down that line with people. If you have enablers in your life, you've got to know them. You've got to identify them distinctly. And you've got a purpose in your heart to avoid them. Because what they will lead you towards is not taking responsibility for stuff. They will teach you learned helplessness. They will make you helpless. And as a helpless person, well, you become a victim. Then you don't take responsibility. You blame other people. So things that you could have taken charge of, you also let go. And your position becomes weaker. It becomes more undermined. And you are the loser. Sometimes the enablers themselves have got their act together for their life. They just enable it for you. I've met those people. I find them very dangerous. They've got double standards. They've got very high standards for themselves. And then they have very rock bottom standards for the rest of you. And they facilitate and give you, it's okay. You're trying your best. No, don't listen to that stuff. It will lead you to a place you don't want. The people who are tough on you, the people who don't accept lowered expectations, the people who refuse to let you feel sorry for yourself, the people who would challenge the victim's mentality, they are the people you actually want around you. You need them around you. They are the ones who actually love you, because this tough love is difficult. It's convenient to placate. But the outcomes with people who enable and placate, they are scary. They are dangerous. It's more convenient to just placate people. It's okay, never mind, than to actually stand up to a person and challenge them and ask them to be better. Majority of people these days have to pay people to do this job for them, because a lot of their friends and family don't have the energy, don't have the passion, don't have the dedication to do this difficult job for free. So most people enable and placate. And so if you really want to make progress, you've got to go and find people who are brave enough to do it, or people you pay and enable and facilitate to do this for you. You cannot make accelerated progress if you don't have people who give you hardcore truth, as bitter and as painful as it can be, because you do need to know where your deficits are. And if you don't know where your deficits are, well, how do you address them? If people will gloss over your deficits, how will you know? How will you know? And how can you bridge a gap you don't know exists? And that's why in this particular book, these things are taught to people who want to be mentally good, mentally strong parents. Mentally strong parents, they raise resilient children. When you see me with my kids sometimes and people are like, don't be so tough on your son. Well, you met my son the way he is because of my attitude. Yeah. Yeah, your little daughter, she's the youngest. No, no, she can still become. She can still be great. I refuse to let her become mediocre because she was not born mediocre. She was not gifted mediocre. She can be a lot of things. When I was a kid, my parents wouldn't let me. And people actually said things to me that would have suggested my parents were being difficult, they were being wicked. Well, now that I'm old, I have respected my parents. I respect them every day more than the day before because every time I raise my kids, every day that I spend with my kids, I realize how difficult it is to be honest, how difficult it is to do things the right way. A teacher punishes my kid, I will tell the kid the reason why they got the punishment. No, I'm not about to jump on their side willy-nilly. No, I protect them. Yeah, I make sure they are not getting bullied. Yeah, I make sure that people act fairly with them and around them. But do I excuse their nonsense? Nope. Do I go fighting unnecessary battles on their behalf? No. In fact, I am so military about it in teaching my kids to defend their own territory. And my job is to give them the skills to be able to do it, not do it for them. I don't fish for people, I teach them to fish. So, people in your life who want to spoon feed you, they seem nice, right? No, they will make you dependent. And when they make you dependent, they will make you pathetic. They will leave you at the mercy of the elements and other people. And that is a sad, dangerous place to be. And that's why people who want to be progressive run away from environments and people like that. So I will have a whole video discussing this bit, the learned helplessness. I will also discuss the victim mentality. I will address a lot of things around this that you can purchase on my Vimeo account and enjoy. But for the time being, enjoy the free one. I hope you learn from this. And don't be shy, don't be coy. Put your feedback in the comment section for me. Catch you soon.